welcome you to Speed Dial on Finding Help with Special Needs. Today I shall be talking about prompts. Now, what is prompts? Prompt is any assistance or clue or help you give to a child to ensure that that child is successful at learning. So I'm sure most of us have adopted prompts in one way or the other. I'll give you a very typical example. Remember the times you try to teach your child to say thank you, and then you try to see if he has understand or mastered the essence of saying thank you. Now you may give the child maybe a candy or a cake, and then when you give it to the child and you give that look or you say, what do you say? That is an example of prompt. Today I shall be walking us through the 5 most commonly used kind of prompt, and I'll be taking you from the least independent kind of prompt to the most independent kind of prompt. I'll be using a particular example, and that example will be that you want to teach a child to say, probably to count numbers 1 to 10 in ascending order. So your objective for the day is to ensure that this child is able to count numbers 1 to 10 in ascending order. You want to start with modeling. Modeling is a kind of prompt which you show the child what to do. So if my learning resource for that day are flashcards of numbers 1 to 10, I'll arrange numbers 1 to 10 disorderly. I'm going to scatter it on the table, and then I will be the model for the child. I have the child watch me, and then I pick a particular card that is number 1. I place it right in front of me from this array of numbers. I pick another number, which definitely will be 2 because 2 comes after 1, and then I pick 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 orderly. The child watched me do that, and then I try to make him also do it. So that's the way to model. You show the child the step-by-step way of doing it. So my objective again is to ensure that the child learns number 1 to 10 in an ascending order. I would have to show the child using flashcards scattered in this array, and then I pick it one after the other in an ascending order. So I pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have modeled that to the child, and that's a kind of prompt, and that is the least independent kind of prompt. Now the second one will be the positional or the partial physical prompt. What that is that you place the numbers scattered right in front of the child, and then if the child pick 1, okay, and then he picks 2, which is beginning to arrange the numbers in ascending order. By the time the child pick 3 and then it gets to 4 and seems stuck, the way you can prompt the child is by moving 4. So once he has picked 1, 2, 3, you move 4 closer to where he's going to pick the next number. That way you are practicing positional or partial physical prompt with the child. The next kind of prompt is a gestural prompt, whereby you still scatter the number, you place the number in this array, and then the child sits down and pick number 1, number 2, number 3. Remember, number 4 might be a challenge for that child. What you could do is to probably look towards the number 4, where the number is positioned among the array, and then the child picks number 4, or you point at number 4 to the child to give the child a clue, and then the child picks number 4. That way the child feels successful as what he or she is learning. Another kind of prompt will be the physical prompt. The physical prompt is more like the child, same example I'm giving. You give the child and you place numbers in this array in front of a child, and your objective is for that child to count number 1 to 10 in ascending order. Now the child again goes pick number 1, and then he picks number 2, he picks number 3, he's stuck at number 4 again. What you can do is to place your hand over his hand and move number 4 out of the disarray of number and place it right behind number 3. The last kind of prompt, which is the verbal prompt, the way that is used is when the child picks number 1, so he goes 1, it goes and then you prompt by saying 4, and that will give the child an idea of what number comes next. So I've been able to highlight 5 different kinds of prompts to you. The first one is model prompt, the second one is positional prompt, the third one is gestural prompt, the fourth one is physical prompt, the fifth one is verbal prompt. Now I need us to be very careful when using prompts. We do not want our children to be prompt dependent. Remember, we do not want the children to be prompt dependent. We want them to be as independent as possible. Remember, I said to us earlier before I started, I said to us that I was going to tell you the way I was going to highlight the prompt according to the least independent to the most independent. Okay, so the model prompt means that the child is not dependent at all. Then as you move on to positional prompt, the child is getting better at being dependent, and then gestural prompt, physical prompt, and then verbal prompt, it shows that the child is much more independent. Now we want to be very careful again not to, like I said earlier, we don't want the child to be prompt dependent, so you have to time your prompting. If you're looking at a child and probably you feel that the child level of processing is not as you would want it to be, you have to give that child time to think through what the challenge is, as opposed to always prompting the child. So for example, if you used to prompt within 2 seconds when you give a child a task, you want to be careful so that your prompt comes in after 4 seconds, or you move it to after 6 seconds, so that you give the child an opportunity to think through what the task is before you begin to offer prompts to the child. And we also want to use the prompt in a way that the child becomes more independent as opposed to always depending on you. So you want to take note that you do that efficiently so that the child can attain independence as much as possible. Another thing you want to be careful of is that you want to know how to withdraw prompts. So you, just like what I said, you have to time your prompt, is another way you could withdraw prompts when teaching a child and using a means of ensuring that the child is successful. Please be careful to be careful so that you can remove the prompt and the child can be as successful as possible. So when you time your prompting from 20 seconds to 30 seconds and to 40 seconds, at some point you have to take away the prompt totally and let the child show you what he knows without your help. And that way you can celebrate the child's success, and you can say for sure that the child has learned the skills you are trying to teach the child. I hope this has been very helpful today. Again, I'll recap all that we've said this moment. We talked about prompting, and we said prompt is that help or that assistance you provide to a child that will ensure that the child feels so successful while learning. And the 5 common kind of prompts are modeled prompt, positional prompt, gestural prompt, physical prompt, and verbal prompt. And we have to be careful to use it from the least independent to the most independent. All we're trying to do to make sure that we are not always in the child's face so that the child can learn successfully. We also have to be careful to time our prompting in such a way that the child feels successful. We are not always having to prompt the child, and we must also learn to withdraw prompts when the child has acquired or feels successful and has acquired the task. Thank you again for watching this episode, and I'll see you some other time. Have a good day. Bye bye.